quite a bit of clues, so we'll see how quick you guys are. Most of the time, you guys are pretty quick. We'll see. All right.
What's the reason you first started painting?
Okay, great question. Someone just asked, what is the reason I first started painting? And I can't remember not creating at all in my life. So let me just backtrack. Before I started painting, I was just into creating. I would draw everything. I talked earlier about collecting comic books. I would watch cartoons and I would draw those, learn how to draw. And then painting was sort of this natural progression of, I wanted to take my art to the next level. I wanted to be a little bit more like laborious in my process and just put more effort into it. And because I'd never painted before, had no idea how to do it, it was like a new challenge for me. So, and I would say this, as much as I was against painting and becoming a painter just in my life early on, it has changed my life completely. So just not only the act of painting, just becoming more confident at this and doing it every day, but just the opportunities that it's opened up for my life. So if you could imagine, when I started, I wasn't that good. I wasn't that confident. I was not doing stuff like this. And imagine where you are right now. Imagine like if you started painting today, you wouldn't be as confident. But if I told you, if you kept doing that and you're gonna get more confident, and 10 years from now, that painting is gonna change your life, would you stick to it? And that's one of the things that I was just telling myself, that is, if I stick to this, I could change my life. And I believe in manifestation. I believe in working hard for and bringing to life the things that you love. So painting has just been part of that whole process in my life. But great question. Okay, good. We have a few correct guesses. I'm not going to say it, but I'll let you guys guess in the comments. Who had the first one that you can tell that you see?
What other mediums have you used?
All right, someone asked, what other mediums have I used? And I used to do graffiti early on. Naturally, I always and still do carry a sketchbook, so I'm always drawing. Design, I haven't really done much sculpture stuff, even though it still fascinates me. Man, what else? I don't know. I love all kinds of mediums of art. I do like to write. I have been. That's it. I guess that would be another artistic medium. So I know we got some guesses. What are some of the wrong guesses? I'm curious. Are there any wrong ones?
I haven't seen any wrong ones.
Okay. And I only say that not to put you on blast, but I love the wrong ones because, technically until we're done, you're right.
Here we go. We got the Jamie Foxx.
Okay, so someone just guessed that this is Jamie Foxx. All right, let's keep going.
We got Ray Charles from Robin Williams.
See, those are all valid, guys. All valid.
Did you go to art school or college for art?
All right, great question. Someone just asked, did I go to art school or art college for art? And I did not. I literally barely made it out of high school. And I just started teaching myself how to do this. I had a lot of great art teachers growing up, but I didn't need college to pursue my career. I don't think that there's anything wrong with going to college. I just chose not to go. Let's splash some paint. This thing needs some energy. All right, what tips do I have for other artists? The best advice I can give, if you're just starting off, you're like, how do I become a better artist, is take my Paint with Garibaldi class. Also, do figure drawing, draw from life. I will preach this literally till the day I die, that to me, the greatest artists are the most observant people. And the more you can become observant of the world around you, the better art you're going to create. Because you start to build this memory bank up of imagery, and it supports you while you're creating. And so take figure drawing classes, and I would say maybe try also recreating other art that you love. And maybe you'll learn about, let me wipe these brushes off, and maybe you'll learn about why that artist created that, or you'll think about, why did this artist, my favorite artist, put these highlights in this place or start it this way. And so recreating art that you love is another great way to just find out what your style is and bring it into life. Keep those questions coming. You can ask below. I will be able to read the comments live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. So keep those coming. And I'll check those comments in just a moment. I want to just establish this image just real quick. Let me just do this painting. Okay, so someone asked, what kind of paints am I using? And these are just latex house paint. That's all it is. I got it at Home Depot. And that's also why it's so fluid, because this paint was made to fill up large spaces, which means if it was too thick, it would be too slow to get it up on the wall. And I just prefer to use latex house paint. But any of you who do any sort of live painting, I would love to know what you use. Maybe you can inspire the rest of us to try it out. All right.
What jump-started your career?
All right, someone asked what jump-started my career, and to be honest, I wish I could say I did this event and everything changed. And I thought that early on, that would be the case, but it wasn't. And what jump-started my career was every day just one foot in front of the other, one step at a time. And even the big events that I thought would change my life, it was just part of this natural growth over time. And so if you approach your art career as if you're on a decade-long marathon, you're sure to make a career instead of going viral, making a little bit of money overnight, and then you don't have the talent or the foundation to support it over time. So for me, there wasn't one event that really changed everything. It was just, doing this show, connecting with this group of people, doing this painting, connecting with this collector, and so on. Just one step in front of the other. And again, I wish it was like that, but it was a lot of work over many, many years. And looking back on it, I would never change a thing. Because it took so long for my career to go. I've been doing this for about 17 years and I've been blessed for a long time, but I've been able to just sustain it over time because I just one foot in front of the other. Just take our time.
What's the hardest part about starting to paint full-time?
One of the hardest parts, someone asked, what's the hardest part about starting to paint full time? One of the hardest parts was just making money. It was finding clients and being able to pay bills. That was the hardest part. And then I would say my answer to that was, how do we maintain this? My answer to that was just really connecting and building relationships. So I would go to charity events, I would give away my work, but in exchange, I would meet people, I would exchange information, and we would build relationships from there. So, and with relationships come the inquiries and so on. So that was one of the hardest parts. I think the other part too was, I dealt with a lot of criticism early on. I got my first publishing deal when I was 20 years old. And when you're new, what they don't tell you or no one can really prepare you for is criticism. And I got a lot of criticism because people would say, oh, well, your art looks like this person and that person. Again, I wouldn't go back and change a thing because I was just creating what naturally came to me, and I think you should too, despite what the world says. So two of the hardest things about starting painting full-time for me was, again, early on, making enough money to have a career out of it, and then dealing with the criticism, some of the hardest things.
In what ways your art had a positive impact on others?
So someone said or asked, in what ways has my art had a positive impact on others? And I would hopefully that other people can answer this, but one of the things that I have always strived for is to use my platform as a way to really benefit and inspire people. So I would say whether we've helped raise money for different charities to, doing keynote speaking at high schools. When I first started, I would speak at high schools around the country and share my journey, but also encourage them to follow their passions as well. So just from giving and sharing information has been hopefully one of the most impactful things. But again, it's hard for me to say because I would want someone else to decide how I've impacted them, if that makes sense. All right, keep those questions coming right now. You see it coming to life. I'm not gonna give it a title yet because I'm sure some of you see it. But I'm just adding layers. You guys if you've been watching this from the beginning, you've seen this come to life one brushstroke at a time, and that's all this process is. This process is one layer at a time, one brushstroke at a time. And even right now, it's not done, it's not perfect, but we trust this process that we're gonna add more layers to this. And it relates so much to just life in general, where you've really gotta just have a bigger vision so that you don't get stuck in the moment and get discouraged about anything. You gotta understand that even the failures are part of lessons that you have to learn.
How did you stay positive during a time of not making a lot of money?
So how did I stay positive during a time when I wasn't making a lot of money? That's a great question. So even early on, there's something that I did that I want to encourage all of you to do who are starting a new journey. And it's very simple. I wrote myself a letter. And I looked into the future and I thought, okay, what do I want to be? And I kind of got that stuck in my head. And then I wrote myself a letter and I put it by my door. And I am not lying when I say this, I would read it every single time. Every single time I would walk out that door, I would read it, and I would have a different vision of my journey in my world. So I started to look at frustrations and struggles as this is part of where I'm going. And I kept in my mind, we're going somewhere. And that would affect, my way of thinking would affect my actions. And my actions are what brought to life my, everything that we've been doing. So having a positive, really trying to keep a positive outlook and a reminder of the mission that you're on is one of the best things you could do to remind yourself, like, hey, this is a hard time right now. And it is, especially even right now for everyone. But having a bigger vision of where do we want to go in the future? Like, and I'm not just saying next year, I'm talking about decades from now, like 10, 20 years. Where do you see yourself? And right now, what seeds are you planting to help yourself grow to that point? I like to talk a lot about and share a lot about those type of things because a lot of us get stuck in the micro problems of today when there's such a bigger picture that we're part of.
What artists have influenced you the most?
So someone asked, what artists have influenced me the most? I would say Denny Dent for sure, Leroy Neiman, is a favorite artist of mine. Man, who else? Andy Warhol is a favorite. Ernie Barnes is a favorite of mine as well. A lot of different artists. I love his glasses, by the way. I almost slipped and said his name because I don't like to give it a title until I'm done. But I do love his glasses. This little line that I'm drawing around it helps me just define and block in this figure. But also you realize you don't need to, throw paint all the time. You can just, a single line can say so much. I'm gonna add some gray for the teeth to start. I'm gonna leave that open and we're gonna go back with some white. And that's just a quick way to create some depth while you're painting your teeth. You don't need to make it all white. I used to do that a lot back in the day. I would just go in with the white and just make completely white teeth. And you know what? Our teeth aren't all white. If they are, God bless you. But I don't want that to reflect here. I'm gonna get some black real quick. I use the black sometimes. If I get paint in a part like on this mouth that I don't want it there, I'll get some black. I'll just touch it up, just like that. Let's go get this white again. Let's add some highlights around the face. And if you don't have any subjects to look at, to learn from, do self-portraits. Look at yourself in the mirror. You know what you look like, and you can gauge if it's looking like it should or not. So let's keep going with this painting. Let's get some bigger brushes. Okay, so someone asked, how did I get to open for KISS? And to be honest with you, I don't know why they called. I'm happy that they did, but KISS, those of you who don't know, they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Last year they were on their final world tour, and I was the opener. Now every night, and this goes back to, someone asked what keeps you encouraged, and I talked about giving and how important giving is and how much it changed my life. And KISS wanted to raise money for charity. So they heard about me, how we do these entertaining paintings, and we've raised over $6 million for charity. So not only would I be able to entertain the audience, and they heard about that, we just talked about what I could do, and we started doing just the first 10 shows, and then the 10 shows turned into about 80 to 90 shows around the world. And we raised about $600,000+ where I would donate these paintings, audience would bid on it, and we raised money for Make-A-Wish as well. So that was pretty cool. So giving is probably one of the bigger reasons why I got that gig. I'm gonna use this black to block in some parts of the face, add some more wrinkles. I love wrinkles. I don't know about you. I don't have too many wrinkles on my head, but I love painting them. So much character. All right, let's start adding a color on the outside to really bring this to life. I'm gonna take a minute. I wanna read some comments down below on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Periscope. Let's start at the bottom. So Mayonnaise is an instrument on YouTube asked, what do you do if you mess up? And I just use paint to paint over it. So paint to me is another acronym for something else that I'll share at a later date, but paint is very powerful. And it also reminds you that there's not an end to your mistakes. So if you make a mistake, like I just did earlier, I took some black paint and just painted right over it. Once you let it dry, let the hurt settle, you get some new paint and you go back over it. So let's see. So Amanda Bradford asked, do you still have your first painting you had done? Have you ever compared? I don't have my beginning paintings because they're either somewhere lost in storage or I sold them or gave them away. But I know what they look like and I've seen them and I cringe when I see them. So, because they have come a long way. You're asking how do they compare? And I mean, even paintings from last year look very different. So we're always just trying to grow. So Timothy asked, he's watching this on Periscope. Timothy, you asked, this painting is amazing. I don't have much, but I would like to buy it. We do offer prints available. I don't know if we'll be able to do this because we don't own the rights to sell prints of him. But we do have other prints available in my online store, GaribaldiArts.com/shop. All right. Let me see if there's one more question I can answer before I go finish this up. Okay, so Joseph Gilbert asked, are galleries overrated? Hold on, let's pause for a dramatic yes. And that's no offense to galleries out there. I've had galleries carry some of my work. I just don't think that you should put them on the pedestal like it's the only way to become an artist. Because of the world that we live in today, we can take control as artists of your own brand, of your story. And if there's anything that you can learn in building your brand or selling your own art, is either watch tutorials or take classes about building a brand. Learn what a brand is. And you can start to create your own world and attract collectors that would never step into an art gallery, but they love what you do. That's when you are truly winning, to be honest. When you can really create your own world. I'm gonna get my roller for this. This'll go a lot quicker. Quicker, messier, but quicker. We're getting near the end, so if you have questions, ask them down below, and I'll do my best to answer them, or they will throw the question at me so I can answer it as well, if it's one that we haven't already answered.
Do you use references for your paintings, or do you just go off what's in your head?
So someone just asked, do I use references for my paintings? And yes, I do. There's a lot of studying involved. There's different ways that I prepare. Now, I don't have a picture nearby that I'm looking at, but I do preparation before I approach my painting. So I would say, and I'm able to do that because I can draw. So that's why I always stress, learn how to draw from life, learn figure drawing, so that even if you don't have a reference of a face, you know how a face is supposed to still look. All right, let's get some purple. I don't know why I want to put some purple on here, but let's just get some purple. I like doing things just because we can. You know what? We forgot his collar. Let's put his collar on. He's a gentleman with a collar. There we go. Let's throw some paint around. Let's get rid of that. Go back to this purple. Add some water to it. We'll bring you closer to see all these details. right. Come on in. Take one last look at the ultimate hero, Stan Lee, the creator of Marvel Comics, and just, I think, all of us who grew up watching comics, he is our hero who does not wear a cape. Also, rest in peace. Take a look. All right, if you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or Periscope, you're seeing this up close right now. Take a look at the colors, the detail. Some of the movements that I do look weird, but it makes sense when you see the final product, hopefully. Also, thank you so much for watching these live streams. Always, I love seeing the familiar names pop up in the comments. I love shouting you guys out. Those of you wondering how you can support, share these videos, like them, and if you don't already do it, follow and subscribe to these channels that you're watching them on. We also have an online store, garibaldiarts.com/shop. You can buy prints of images that I've created on these lives. And then we also launched a new program called Paint with Garibaldi, where I will be teaching you how to paint as well. You can sign up for that on my website, garibaldiarts.com. So take one last look before we wrap up this session, and then we'll chat before we sign off. That was fun. That was like such a fun painting today. I'll fix them up. You gotta say hi to them when you flip the camera around. All right, if you guys are missing it, you can see the live stream still going. Let's go back here. All right, we're gonna chat